Welcome to the Local Exchange Podcast, where Northwest Ohio comes to talk. Real people, real conversations, right here in our community. This episode is proudly brought to you by Caliber Custom Clothiers, defining style beyond ordinary. Welcome back to the Local Exchange. We are joined here by Mindy Molaski, and you are the fourth person that we've had that's running for Shawnee Township Trustee. So, Mindy, thank you so much for stopping in.
Thank you for inviting me and all of us to do this. This is great.
Absolutely. We have a few more podcasts lined up going into the following week up to the election with some different individuals. We're excited to get those out there. Good. And we still have an open invitation out to all three current trustees. If they want to come on at any point, we will certainly clear our schedule out and make sure that they can come on. But Mindy, just off the top, we do this with everyone. Just tell us a little bit about who Mindy Molaski is.
So I have lived in Lima my whole life, graduated from LCC. We moved to Shawnee with our three kids about 13 years ago. Just kind of looking, we lived in the city of Lima when the kids were little, and we're trying to decide where we wanted to send the kids and raise the kids, and looked at all the different areas, and we kept coming back to Shawnee. We live close to the school, so we get to hear the band and the football team and the baseball team, and that part of it's super fun, very exciting. We have people park at our house for football games because sometimes it's closer than even parking at the school. So we're very involved in all the sports that go on. I have three kids. We have one in college at Bowling Green. He graduated from Shawnee in 24, and then we have a senior graduating this coming year, and then we have a freshman also at Shawnee. So lots going on at our house right now.
So you got one expensive kid, one soon-to-be expensive kid.
Yes. And then a daughter who's probably the most expensive kid.
Okay. See, in my family...
I'm sure she'll be thrilled to hear you say that. You definitely won't catch any flack for that.
In my family, my brother was expensive, I was expensive, and then my sister was just so hardworking, got her scholarships, got everything taken care of. She is the golden child.
That's awesome.
So hopefully you get the same luck in your family. So you were an LCC T-Bird, and then you decided to move away. It's just something in common that we have. My wife went to LCC and I went to Shawnee, and she decided to bring our family. We decided to bring our kids and have them go to Shawnee.
Yeah. I do think a lot of it was size too.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a big difference, size wise, number wise. Obviously, the smaller Catholic schools compared to Shawnee is huge. So I think that was a big decision, and just, of course, with the ages our kids were at the time, it was sports and all that kind of stuff. So that had a lot to do with our decision as well.
Sure, absolutely.
So that was 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
13 years ago, you said Shawnee's the right move for us versus Bath, Elida,
right,
Allen East, Spencerville, whatever. If you could make that move again today, would you? Would you still pick Shawnee versus Bath, Elida, Shawnee, or Allen East?
Absolutely. We do. Like I said, we love it out this way. Being close to the school is super fun. And maybe it is where our house kind of is located because we get all the excitement of all of the high school stuff and stuff like that. But also having the police department and fire department close is super promising. It's a super enticing, I guess, thing to have close and around. I did work at the school for a while, so having that, knowing that EMTs and all of that were close was very...
What did you do for the school? I know you've talked about this.
Yeah, so I stayed home with the kids for quite a while, and then when the kids all kind of started school, I started subbing as a secretary at the school, which was very fun because I was able to work at all four schools, like different areas. I did like library and front desk and attendance and all that stuff. So I did that for about 2 years. And then I was offered a full-time position at Maplewood. So I did front desk, attendance, and the library at Maplewood. And I did that for, it was 6 years. I was full-time at Maplewood, which was super fun. Loved the kids, loved getting to know the parents. I was right at the front desk, so I got to see everybody, know everybody. I still get kids come up, Mrs. Molaski, which is really cool because now they're mostly in high school. And
right.
And then from there, I left Shawnee and went to Synovus. It was actually CAM Industrial, which isn't there anymore, but I worked at Synovus for almost 3 years. Got a job in April at St. Rita's. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I work in the education department up at St. Rita's, so which I have absolutely loved.
Good.
Awesome. You know, it's funny. You talk about seeing kids later on. Do you ever
Yes.
get in that situation where you don't recognize the kid because they're? So for me, I coach swim. I coach swim for a lot of years, and I do upwards basketball and a lot of different things. And so I see kids when they're this size, and then they'll grow 10, 15 years, and I haven't changed what I've looked like since I graduated from high school. People will look at me and say, "Hey, John, how you doing?" I'm like, "Who is this kid?"
Yeah, I do a lot actually, because I'll see kids like at the football games or something, and it's not a lot because, you know, they've had so many teachers and secretaries and everybody that they don't remember the librarian from Maplewood. But every once in a while I'll get one of them, "Mrs. Molaski, how are you?" And it's like, you know, I think I remember. But with having kids in the school too, I hear a lot of names and, you know, stuff like that. So I think the names, at least, like if they say their name, I'm like, "Oh yeah, now you know." Like, but you, like you said, you still picture them in 3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah, didn't see that facial hair on them at the
you
time
would
or
picture
anything.
them when they're juniors and seniors in
You
high
get a
school.
lot of "Hey buds."
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
how's it going? Yeah, my favorite student. Right.
Exactly.
So you've talked about loving the band and loving hearing just the excitement of game day.
Yeah.
If someone's coming into Shawnee and they've never been here and they say, "Hey, I need a great place to eat,"
Yeah.
it doesn't have to just be Shawnee. Anywhere in Lima, where are you sending somebody?
I mean, our go-to is La Charreta every time, but we've done, if we're talking Shawnee, like you said,
Yeah.
we've been to all the new ones around. They're great. Lima's Finest has been great. They have lots of different stuff.
That's over in that plaza, right?
Yeah, it's
I've
where
heard a lot of good
Westside-
things about them.
Westside used to be there, so it's set up the same. Go in. They got great burgers, pizza, all kinds of stuff. So it's a great, like,
Okay.
just something different.
I've
you
heard it's
know,
like healthy, fresh.
Yeah, they got. I think they have, and I haven't been in there for a little bit, but they have like a cooler of like fresh stuff sometimes that you can go in and like take home with you.
Okay.
So it's great.
Okay.
We've been to Shawnee Station's great. Reservation Alley for coffees. My daughter and I have Fun Drink Friday. So yeah, we like to go to Reservation
So
Alley.
maybe she's not the cheapest kid.
I mean, she gets it from somewhere.
Those
We'll
coffees
say
will
that.
add up.
I'm a Dr. Pepper drinker, so mine's cheap.
Okay, so you get a Dr. Pepper and she's
She
getting
gets the
like a
coffee.
caramel
Yeah,
macchiato
exactly.
latte,
extra foam, and all that stuff.
all the good stuff. So outside of that, I mean, just, you know, you got the great high school, everything.
Sure.
Just in general, what are some traits about the Shawnee community that you think stand out, that are maybe unique to Shawnee, or just something that they're very strong in?
I think just the community in itself. You go to these games or you go to the school for different events, and it seems like everybody kind of knows everybody. And, you know, "Hey, how are you? How's, you know, the kids?" I think just the atmosphere at, like I said, the different events and stuff that you go to. I do think it's a small town. Having, you know, driving by and seeing a fire truck or a police car, it makes you feel a little safe, a little hometown. Like, my husband always jokes that we have $3 Generals within like 3 miles of our house. So why do we need to go anywhere else? You know, it's like small town community. So
Yeah, they just keep popping up.
Yeah,
We're
they do.
at high end gas stations,
Yes,
and then
yes.
Dollar Generals are going everywhere.
on every other corner. Yes.
Apparently, that's the business to get into. But
Well, you mentioned, speaking of high-end gas stations, you mentioned wanting to one of your things at the town hall was you want to sort of clean up the high exit on 75 on
Absolutely.
Brees Road. Do you have any like actual thoughts on like what you'd like to do with the space? Bringing in a business, a community cleanup day, like where are you at with
Yeah. So I have talked to a couple of business owners around that area. I have a couple calls out to a couple other ones. So I think it would just start. I mean, it would be a big project. It wouldn't just be like, let's throw a building up and make it, you know, it would be a big project. I think just starting with cleaning up, whether, like you said, you have like a cleanup day or you get kids. I know Apollo students go out and like clean up different roads and stuff like that, like collaborate with these schools and get these kids involved in the township and, you know, make them understand that they should be proud of where they're from and, the school that they go to. And I think just getting people involved would be the first thing. I know the lot like across from Ace, kind of like diagonal from where Wawa is. It's just like we still have signs up that are like half falling down and like pushed over and blown over. And it's just a big plot of nothing. And it's like, gosh, if we're going to have all these people getting off the highway right here, and Wawa is going to be huge. So you're going to have people from all over stopping. And it's just, I feel like it could be way more welcoming, way more, I don't want to say, maybe dressed up, I guess is the word. Like, where's our sign? Like, welcome to Shawnee Township.
Right.
We have great athletics. We got a soccer team, basketball that's been to state, that our esports team even, like they go to state every year and you don't hear about it.
I did not know we were going to state in esports.
Yes, it's great. Like, why do we not promote that to people coming into town and the people that already live here? Like,
would have loved to have esports on the back
Right?
of my varsity
Yes.
jacket,
Yeah.
but if my life would have gone down a completely different path if I was playing video games that much.
yeah. It's great though. I mean, all the kids and they're so, we have the band that goes to all of these competitions. Like, we should be promoting that. I feel like that alone would bring, I think, attract, new residents and new businesses and stuff.
Yeah, well, and the really nice thing about you with that idea, and Matt even mentioned this before we even set this podcast up or anything. He said he really liked that because that was something that was a little bit outside the box.
Right.
We've mentioned a couple times that your answers at the town hall were very copy and paste across the board.
Absolutely.
And it's good that you guys are all on kind of the same ground, but hearing a new, unique idea
Yes.
kind of made you stand out. And Matt had mentioned that, and I couldn't agree more. Driven around in a lot of different communities, and you see those signs.
You do.
And it is
Even
kind of cool
small
to
little
just
towns,
know what you're getting into.
Yeah. And I know, it wouldn't cost much to put a sign up. You know what I mean? Like, and I know the school has, like, we could collaborate with the school, get some art kids to design it. Like, there's so much we could do that I just feel like we're just in this like lull that we just go day by day. And I just feel like it's time for something new and a little bit exciting. And I feel like there's so many people involved right now that have never really paid attention to local government and stuff, that now is a great time that we have people's attention to use that. Like,
Right.
and the ages that my kids are, I do talk to a lot of, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and they don't pay attention to local government, but like, we've had people text us or snap my son, like, hey, going to vote today, and it's like, how exciting is that? How cool is that? That even if it, it's somebody they know, somebody's mom, somebody's dad that is involved, it's getting an 18-year-old kid involved that would have maybe not cared before. So
Sure. And I mean, that was one of the encouraging things we saw. The town hall was really packed, had a lot of people in there.
all
And just in
ages.
general, a lot of people are talking about this. And
sure.
there's so much information out there, which is why we started this, just
For
to
sure.
get straight to the source. But, you talk about people being more interested in local government now. At what point in your life did you think for the first time, hey, I want to be a Shawnee Township trustee?
So I've never thought I was going to be anywhere near the government. I'll put that out. Back in 2021, we're going to go back to the fire station a little bit, but Chief Truesdale had asked me, I'd gotten to know him at the school and stuff like that, coming in with the kids and all the fire safety stuff. And we kind of got to know each other. His son, Joey, and my oldest were in school together. So we kind of had that connection. And he had asked if I'd be interested in being on the levy committee that year and helping get the word out. He said, I know you talk to a lot of parents, a lot of people in the community being at the school, and we have some good friends on the fire department. So that was the first time I really got super involved in it. Before it was always the sports and the stuff like that with the kids. And it was like, man, like we really do need a town, something new to go on. The kids are getting older, that kind of stuff. So we fought and we worked hard and we did all the things, and it was great to see it get passed. And then as nothing happened in those 4 years, it kind of I felt like it kind of stopped. You'd hear about, somebody would ask me every once in a while, like, hey, whatever happened to that fire station? Like, whatever happened to this or that? And it was like, I don't really know. So I started going to the township meetings again, because I'll be the first to admit I don't go to very many of them. You know, you get busy and it's like, oh man, that was last night. I forgot to go to that. But kind of started piquing interest again. So I started going to meetings, and I've spoken at a couple of the meetings to ask the questions of our trustees, and didn't get any answers. I would email, I would get a response. So it kind of got frustrating because people were coming to me knowing that I had been involved in the levy, and I didn't have any answers for them. So as I was trying to get answers for them, I could see why everything kind of got stopped where it did. And so it was finally like, I can't keep complaining about all of this and asking questions and not do something about it, kind of thing. So
Sure. And being on the levy committee, I'm on the levy committee. I've said this a couple of times for Shawnee Schools
Yes.
and the renewal. But what were your expectations for what that levy was going to do? You're obviously communicating this out to the community.
sure.
So what was your impression of what was going to be done with that money, and how soon?
So we knew for sure, like, some of it was deficit spending. We knew it wasn't, like, the whole levy wasn't going to a new building. You know, no one ever expected that. We had to get out of the deficit spending of that. We knew that we were gonna need new trucks, a new ambulance, a new squad. We thought we were going to get some new employees, and of course the firehouse would at least be started, at least be put into. Sorry, I don't know what word I want to use. We had a company come in, you know, this is where it should be. This is, you know, what you need, all of that kind of stuff. And I think we just thought it would be at least started, you know, like at least we would have some answers of like, we don't even have a plan right now, which I think is the frustrating part. Like, we don't even, you know, yes, we got to save this much money and this is the plan, but we haven't even gotten that far with it. And it's been 4 years. So.
How much time have you spent at the firehouse, around the people that are working there every day? What kind of feedback are you getting from them as to the importance of the firehouse? Because I don't think that we shouldn't beat around the bush. That seems to be the topic this year.
Absolutely.
And every election, it seems like there's one big thing that differentiates people. The 4 people running you guys all seem to be on the same page.
Yes.
We got to be moving in the right direction towards that, because it's not a good building.
Right.
Are you basing that off of communication from the fire department, from your own experience being on the fire levy? Where do you stand with, you know, where is this information coming from that you're of the frame of mind, as are the other 3, we need this new building?
For sure. So when I was on the levy, we did a big tour, and they invited everyone, come in and take a tour. Like, we want to show you this. We don't want this all to just be hearsay or, you know, I heard this or I heard that. So we did do a big tour. We did multiple of them when the levy was going on, of different areas of the building that needed attention. The asbestos was horrible, the leaking, the mold, even just where they sleep. It's insane how many guys they squish in, you know. And I know one of the big things then was that really they had nowhere for a female firefighter to go at that point. So that was, you know, even if they wanted to hire one, it would be a block, which I know, thankfully, we've gotten one on the department now. But that was kind of a big question then too, you know, if we would get a female firefighter, where's she going to go? You know, kind of.
So I don't want to interrupt you, but so we have a female firefighter now.
We do.
What was the workaround for that?
So, you know, I can't say that I really know. I know she has, I shouldn't say I know. I have heard that she has like her own private, you know, area kind of thing. But I don't know. I haven't actually spoke to her to say like how she feels about it all or how it kind of works out for her. I know that building was only built for 4 firefighters, which we now have 7, 8, 9 of them at a time sleeping, living there. But even just the kitchen, I mean, I don't know. Have you guys been?
No, I'm thinking about just stopping by. I'd love to
Only-
see this place.
You really should.
I
mean, and
only
they
go
would welcome
there
you.
when they're serving pancakes.
Yes.
So
I
when-
know we missed it because of family day, but I heard they're the best pancakes in town. So, but no, you really should. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see, like just the overall, even just the feel of it. It's like like when you go into an older house that
When
was
you go into Shawnee High School or Shawnee Middle
not
School.
Shawnee Middle School. Yes, yes. It's just that old feeling that has not been touched or updated in a very long time.
Right.
See, but Shawnee Middle School has a little wooden building that you can buy at Cupie. I don't think I've seen any wooden firehouses at Cupie.
No,
So
I don't think so.
we don't have the historical significance that we need, that
true.
charm.
That's true.
Who needs air conditioning when you can have a wooden Kewpie model? Right. It's the important stuff. I'll let my kids know. Right.
Yeah, you'll be fine. We'll get
Right.
creepy after
Suck
school.
it up.
It's
Right.
fine.
So obviously there's a lot of things related to the fire department that you seem to be frustrated about.
Right.
To be fair, are there any other things that are kind of frustrating for you that have kind of led you to throw your hat in the ring here?
So I think along with the fire department, and I know the other guys kind of discussed it too, is the addition to the police department administrative building. And not that I'm frustrated with it, but I just feel like it was kind of started under the radar, kind of, like no one really knew what was happening or what it was. And the first time I kind of started, it was like, wow, they're actually putting up a building, like you saw trucks there, you saw stuff going on, but you didn't really know what was going on until they started actually putting walls up. And then it was kind of like, whoa, what is going on? And even then, I don't think people really knew until people started asking the questions. I'm not sure at what point we would have known if people wouldn't have started asking and kind of, I don't want to say demanding, but kind of wanting to know what was going on, especially with the levy, people asking, where's the fire department? And then we have this new building that wasn't the fire department. And not that they don't deserve it or that they don't, or that they couldn't use it, but I think the timing of it all was just very odd.
Yep. Have you had a chance to speak with Chief Miller at all?
We communicate a little bit. I haven't spoken to him,
Yep.
voice spoken to him. We've messaged a couple of times. I've checked in on him a couple of times, before the election and stuff, or not, I'm sorry, not before the election, before, kind of everything went down, it was like, I had actually had a couple meetings with him about the fire station and like, what can I do to help? Like, where people from the public need to start getting involved kind of thing. And so I was fortunate that I did kind of build a friendship with him beforehand, or, so we did have a couple good talks about what the public could do to help, get it started again, or at least start asking the questions and stuff like that. And then it just kind of happened so under the radar that it was like shocking. I think that, I was sitting at a graduation party and get a text that's like, what is going on? And I was like, I don't know, and all of a sudden it was like, what in the world is going on over there? So,
And just having a short conversation, did you get a sense of kind of the person that he is?
absolutely. He cares about this place. He was very excited to be here. He knew that there was going to be roadblocks. He knew that there was going to be challenges. And he still wanted to come here and work with our guys and work with our community and make it better. And I just feel like the trustees just kind of everything he had an idea for, it just wouldn't go anywhere. So
In those discussions that you had with him about like, what are we going to do? We got to make some improvements. At any point, have there been just kind of local businesses or contractors that have stepped up? Because, a lot of people just will do anything to help out the firemen. Our firefighters, our police, they're the heroes. They're the people that keep us safe.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure there's a lot of businesses raising their hand to say, hey, I can help out with
Yeah.
this. Have you been involved or heard of any of those types of conversations?
So, the coolest thing I saw was, and I'm not sure if you guys saw the post from the fire department, it was maybe 2 months ago or so it was like a pipe that was literally just leaking water. And they had already paid for someone to come out and, look at it, and it still wasn't fixed and all this. And one of the guys just said, what is going on? And every comment under that post was, other than, you guys shouldn't have to live like this. Every other comment was, hey, I'll come out and check it out for you. You know, I work here, I've done work here, or something like that. And just it was amazing to me how many people just said, hey, I'll stop out. What's a good time? You know, like you said, people want to help. I don't think it's that no one is coming to help. People want to help. They just don't know what to do or how to help.
So if you were to be elected, keeping on the premise of the firehouse, and you get in, you get your feet wet, where do you stand on, and I think this question was similarly asked at the town hall, would you condone building one right away? If all that money in that levy was to go to a variety of different things, we've heard fire trucks, we've heard equipment, clearing up some deficit.
Right.
What would your reasonable time frame be for, like, all right, let's actually get this ball rolling? Is it like a day one, we're starting construction, we're going to find the money somewhere somehow, or is it we got to reevaluate things and see where we're actually at?
I think because there has been so many like unanswered questions about all of that, I think it would be almost like a start over kind of thing. See where we're at. I don't think there's any way it could be a day one type of thing. I would like to see sooner than later, at least the different, I don't want to say contracts, but surveys that the township has had done. I know we had one done during the levy. I believe they've had one or two done since. So I think that would be a great starting point, is just get those out and let's see where we're at, and let's see what we need to do to at least, even if it's buy land or find land, like even when you buy a house, you know, sometimes people buy land and let it sit for a year or two before you actually get plans to do it. So I think just starting almost from scratch would be, which I know would be frustrating because everybody wants it right now, you know, but I think seeing where budgets are at, I know there's a lot of talk on the property tax and stuff like that coming. And so could be a lot of changes coming. And I don't think just going out on day one and saying, okay, we're going to put up a firehouse is practical. But I do think that getting all of the information that we do have out and learning about it more and knowing what we do know, I think would be my first step.
One of the things that you talked about on is that you're running on, and things that you're going to do is that you're going to monitor excessive spending. Coming into this, I can't imagine you've looked over the fire department, police department. How do you figure out what is excessive and what that definition is, and when it's the first time coming into this?
Sure. So I think just getting to know everything. You know, how many calls are we getting? How many, whether it's police or fire or dispatch or road guys, you know, what's going on and how many are on staff at that time. Kind of almost get, I don't want to say a chart, but like a flow sheet, you know, like when are your busier times? Do we have it staffed the correct way? Are we, you know, football games, are there too many? Are there not enough? Are there, you know, you see 6 police officers and 3 or 4 firefighters at the game, you know, just stuff like that. Like, I think just kind of learning the flow of each department and what it takes to keep everyone safe and to keep them safe, I think would be kind of the first step. And where is it going? You know, like where's the big money? I don't want to say problems, but you know, where's the big money going? Like what's the biggest expense of each department?
It's a lot of money that we bring. Roughly, I've heard numbers like 16 million.
That's what
seems to be the commonly thrown around number.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
That's a lot of money to be spending, and obviously we've got a bunch of firefighters and roads guys and cemetery workers.
Yeah,
it encompasses a lot of people
for sure
and budget. And that is like, have you looked at the budget? Have you seen any numbers yourself?
I have requested the last couple months. I've requested the ledgers and stuff. It doesn't really paint not a great picture, like as in we're in trouble, but it's kind of hard to know until you're in there, I think, to know what all the numbers even mean. And I think the first thing I would want to do is just understand what, they have their own language, just like any business, this comes out for this. And it's like, well, what is that exactly?
Right.
That kind of stuff. So I have requested some, and I've seen some of the budgets and the ledgers. So I think just understanding it more and for each department, because I think when you say 16 million as in one big budget, I think that paints a different picture, as in every department has their own budget to work
Right.
with. That's 16 million spread out over 5 or 6 different areas. So
you had asked on Facebook just kind of what are some things that are concerning the citizens outside of the fire
sure.
thing, which is smart of you because you just would have been filled with that.
Yes.
But there was 2 things that people mentioned. One was the roundabout, get that thing down to 1 lane. I've heard that before.
Yes.
And then the other thing was curbside recycling.
Yes.
And that, man, at one point my aunt lived just a mile away from me, and she had recycling and I didn't.
Yes.
And people come over to my house and say, "Do you recycle?" Like, no.
No. Yeah.
There's not a convenient thing that I
No.
could walk right outside my door and throw it in a box.
Right.
I don't want to drive it over the stinky bag of
For sure.
cans.
Yeah.
So how do you how would you even go about getting something like that set up?
I don't know, to be honest with
Sure.
you, but I think it would be amazing.
Yeah.
And again, let's get the schools involved with this. Like, let's figure out a way to recycle. And, I know, I think Cridersville has a place.
I go to Cridersville's all of the time.
Yeah.
I get a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
I spend too much money online through businesses.
Gotta knock off your Amazon
we get a
habits.
lot of boxes,
For sure.
and they take up a ton of space. So
Yeah.
I break them all down, and I drive them to Cridersville.
Yeah. I've
and
heard
it's
that.
it's
That's the
it's a
closest place.
nice they do glass and aluminum and
Yeah.
plastic bags and boxes, and I don't know what deal they've worked out, but I like to think, not to rag on Cridersville, if Cridersville can figure it out,
We should be able
we
to.
probably should be able to
And
figure
maybe
it out
that's
too.
where you start, talk to them. Like, how do you start something like this? How do you, I know Joe Recker owns, he's our trash service provider, and maybe it's something he could, people could work with him on, whether he, works with the Cridersville, like at least get something started or ask the questions of how do you do this? Where does it even start? Because I think it would be great. I mean, because most people, like you said, I know my mother does, but like she bags up her cans and her, glass and takes it to Cridersville, but I don't.
Yeah, I always feel a little bit bad when I get
Yeah.
asked that question.
Yeah.
They give me this look like,
Yeah.
you don't recycle?
Yeah. But
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
bury me.
Yeah.
I get it. Something you recently expressed some frustration over was it seemed like there was a Lima News article and they were asking questions. And it didn't appear that you and the 4 that are running against the incumbents got an opportunity to get new questions. Like, what was the story there?
So I got a Facebook message from the gentleman that wrote the article or sent the article into the paper. And all he did was ask, he said, I'm writing this article. I'd like, it will be in the Lima News regarding the town hall. And he just wanted the picture that we used at the town hall. Basically, he's like, I just need a headshot of you if you wouldn't mind sending that in. So I said, sure, and we talked a little bit just about stuff going on, all the stuff. But he never asked any questions. He never said, what do you think of this or that? And it was literally the exact same answer. I mean, it was exactly what like your News Now had written up. It had to have been a copy and paste type of thing. And whereas the incumbents that weren't at the town hall, they got different questions asked. They had time to kind of think about it, stuff like that. So it was kind of frustrating when it came out because it was like, well, they already know that I said that like last week when this came out. And I just felt like it was just like they just repeated exactly what we had already said. So I was a little frustrated. If you're going to do a news article, at least let me answer the same questions
Yeah, you would hope it's you'd hope it's balanced. You'd hope it
Right.
feels equal
Right.
at least.
Right.
And maybe they, let's give the benefit of the doubt and assume they weren't trying
No,
to.
and I don't think it was malicious. It was just frustrating that it was, they got to say, what they wanted to say, but ours was more, all 4 of us, it was the exact same article as what was already posted. So
So there's a lot of attention that's been brought to like Wawa coming here, and I mean down in Cridersville you got the crossroads of Northwest Ohio, and
Right.
let's I maybe a shovel's touched the ground there, but a lot of people like the small town charm of Shawnee. What do you think that balance is of bringing in new business and maybe turning it into something that's more attractive for other business to bring in that tax revenue and other residents? At some point, do you think that changes a little bit about what Shawnee is if we start bringing in some of these big businesses, the Wawas, and like how do you preserve that Shawnee charm, if you will?
Right. So I do like the fact that, I mean, Wawa is coming. Obviously, I think it's going to be big. I do like the fact that it is right out off the highway, so I don't think it's going to change anything in the actual like community of Shawnee. I think bringing in business is only going to help, our economy, and it's going to help businesses. It's going to help the school. It's, I don't think it would lose any small town feel. I don't think Shawnee's going to be able to bring in anything big enough that would take that away. Like, I know Chick-fil-A is what was wanted.
Well, that's this guy right here.
Chick-fil-A, Topgolf. I don't believe Paul gave us.
Yeah,
right,
we didn't get what Paul was bringing
Paul
us.
didn't
That's
narrow
going to
down.
knock on him. What are you bringing us?
What am I bringing? Man, I'll get back to
But
you.
it is one of those things like, what are we missing? What
For
are some
sure.
fun things that can come in here? I mean,
Well, I know even just when I was at Synovus and my husband works at Nutrien, I mean, the guys out there, they get so sick of the same food every single day, and it's like, why can't we get like a Wendy's or like where it wouldn't lose the small town atmosphere, but it would bring in a little bit more.
We should start
business.
that. Bring back Taco Bell.
Yes,
Right, bring back Taco
please.
Bell.
Like,
I miss having Taco Bell right there.
it's probably a good thing it's not right there, to be honest with you, But yeah, I mean, I don't think businesses like that would necessarily hurt the feel of Shawnee Township, but I feel like it could only help, like.
Sure. I think about, I always, when I go to the St. George Festival every year, I'm amazed by just the amount of money that they can raise
Yes.
at that event.
Yeah.
And obviously we had the Autumn Jubilee and we're, the National Night Out. We're starting to build up as a community.
Yeah.
How do you think I feel like there's some missed opportunities for, even organizations within the school, maybe the fire department putting on something, the police department putting on something. What are some, do you think there's some opportunities to raise additional funds or get community involvement, bring us together?
Absolutely. So I've actually thought about, and I'm not sure how to go about doing it, but it's been in the back of my head, like a Kiwanis Club or something like that, where like these people actually raise money to bring stuff into the township. Like look at Wapak and the swimming pool that they have, or Delphus has the swimming pool, and it's actually community like sponsors and community groups that get together and raise money for this kind of stuff. And I think, like you said, the STEP thing has been great and they've done amazing things. I'm not sure exactly like what the fundraising for that is actually going to. Mm-hmm. I know they're fundraising for Shawnee, but I'm not sure what they're fundraising for, like, is it something big like that for the township or, stuff like that. So I think just getting the more community members we can get involved, I think the better. If we could start like a town and get more community members involved in it, I'm not sure who all is even involved in the STEP committee. I know a couple people from the township are involved, which is great. But I think getting more community members involved would be even better.
Along the lines of you guys all bringing me my Chick-fil-A. If there was one thing,
Yeah.
let's just say budget was not an issue.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you would bring to Shawnee if Shawnee won the budgetary lottery tomorrow?
Absolutely. A grocery store, whether it be like an Aldi or I wouldn't even want a Walmart, just something where you can run in and grab some chicken and milk for dinner or
I
something.
mean,
like
the $3 stores aren't doing it for you.
no, they're trying.
No chicken at the Dollar
They're
Tree.
trying, but I just think like how the Rite Aid there that just closed. It's like, man, that would be a perfect like Aldi or Ruler Food or Kroger or something.
That kind of
like,
looks like an Aldi
doesn't
too
it?
already.
That's-
They don't even have to tear it down.
no, it
Right.
would be perfect. I think that would be my first. It would be huge.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I mean, you think about it, we used to have Dave,
Exactly.
Dave's
So now,
Market
like
right
where
there.
we're at, we either run into Chiefs, we run into Walmart, or we go to, you got to run to Cridersville. And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, to get anything more than like some bread and milk, like
Right.
at Dollar General or something. But I just think a grocery store would be great.
It would be a nice little thing to have right there.
I don't know if it's as good as a Topgolf, but I would take it. Sure.
All right.
The Top Golf Junior. So it's Chick-fil-A, Top Golf Junior, and then your grocery store
Right.
at the bottom.
No offense to grocery stores.
get it.
In the hierarchy,
We got enough of those around
it's
here.
more beneficial that I have a Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
and a Topgolf. Yes.
Matt is
and
slowly
a Taco Bell in there somewhere.
Right. And hashtag bring back Taco Bell. Right.
I like it.
Matt's building his resume for when he runs for township
Yes,
trustee.
yes.
Here's all the things I'm going to bring
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Probably much easier said than done.
I don't know
So-
how we're gonna afford it, but I'm gonna. Right.
You got to learn somewhere, right?
You gotta try.
So who are some good role models in your life or people that you look to?
My parents.
Okay.
They've lived here, both of them, their whole lives. Like, they know a lot of people. My husband is a huge support system for me. He's my sounding board for just about everything. My kids are huge, even if I don't actually go to them and talk to them about stuff, they know when mom's upset or frustrated or, just a hug or you doing okay kind of thing. And we have a great group of friends that have supported me from the day I said, I think I'm going to do this. And they're like, I think you should do this, So those are my people.
What have you learned in the process that has maybe surprised you when you said, all right, today's the day I'm announcing my candidacy?
Right.
I assume you've done some research, you figured out what the job entails, and you've
Right.
said, this is for me. What is something along this, I don't know how long it's been since you announced you were running. In the last couple of months, what have you learned that has been surprising to you about the process or the job, any of it?
I don't know if it's so much like the job itself, but the people that I have met and talked to and that have messaged me on like Facebook or whatever that I've never even talked to before, and, they'll say like, I support you. I have some questions for you. Like, I think just people care,
Right.
I think that's huge that they are, they don't know me any more than I know them. And they're reaching out, I have some questions for you. I've had multiple messages. Like I've asked all the candidates the same question and I would like to know your answer. And it's like, it's amazing that people want to know this stuff, and I think that's huge. So
When you have people reaching out to you and asking about a variety of things, hypothetically someone wants Chick-fil-A or something in here, and you go down the line, you actually kind of look into it, and then you realize, hey, it's not going to be a good fit.
Right.
Here's why it's not going to happen. Transparency is a big thing that
Absolutely.
the four people we've talked to have emphasized.
absolutely.
Do you think that you have an obligation to deliver that message to the people that might not be happy that you're going to say, hey, this isn't going to happen?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd rather tell somebody that than not answer them. I would rather say, hey, I looked into it. These are the reasons. I just don't think this is going to work, than just ignore them. I think people at least deserve an answer over what they're questioning.
Sure.
You've been pretty vocal, I think, about your disliking of the way we handle trustee meetings. Mm-hmm. You've gone to a few of them. Mm-hmm. What are some things you'd like to change, if you could, about the meetings in themselves?
So I think the thing that frustrates me the most is that you have to call the township the Friday before a meeting by, I think it's noon. They only allow 3 people to talk. You have a set time that you're allowed to talk. And now they have started, you have to tell them what you're going to talk about. And the last time that I talked, I had to turn in the paper, because obviously I wrote down what I wanted to say.
Like a script.
I had to turn in my script basically afterwards so that they could put them in the meeting minutes. But there's not any meeting minutes to see. So I did, because I had enough to say. I wanted to ask some questions, and but I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I've went to school board meetings and I've spoke at school board meetings, and they're there for the public. They're working for the public. And if there's 20 people that want to talk, then you know what? You're going to be there and you're going to listen to all 20 people. And if one lady talks for 30 seconds and one talks for 6 minutes, like, sorry, but you know, that's part of your job. That's part of your, you chose to do this, you know? And I think it's just frustrating. I was literally in the middle of a sentence one time and they're like, oh, time's up. And it was like, oh my gosh, you know, like, and the time that I had put into what I wanted to say and the questions I wanted to ask, it was just cut off. Like I didn't have a chance to even finish my sentence.
And do you see like a timer or anything when you're up there
No.
talking? Do you have any idea when you're running out of time?
Nope, nothing.
So they just
And
pull the hook on you like the Academy
they do.
Awards. They don't
They
even give
do.
you music.
Well,
They
as
do.
long as Will Smith doesn't slap you when you're done with it, right?
That would be bad.
So you obviously have a lot of things going on. You got a kid in college. You got another one about to be in college. You're going to football games. And how do you envision the balance? How much time do you think it's going to take per week if you get elected as a trustee?
I don't know if there's going to be like a set time. I'll put in whatever needs to be put in. Luckily, unlucky for me, I will have 2 at college. Lucky for that, you know, luckier for them, I guess. But I feel like now is a good time for me because I'm not as busy as I was 4 years ago or 8 years ago when all 3 kids were home and had 4 different sports to get to and, you know, stuff like that. So my evenings are a little bit more free now. I do work, like I said, full time during the day, but my email will be available. My, you know, Facebook will be available. I'll be available, you know, whether it might be a couple hours or a day or 2, but I will promise to get back to you because I know how it feels to not get an email back regarding something that you're passionate about or, you know, to kind of be ignored by somebody that should be answering questions of the community.
I think we've asked everybody this, and I don't know if you're like on the record of supporting or not supporting. Where do you stand on the 2 levies this year? Both the school levy.
There's 4 of them. 2 for Allen County, but
Right, the Shawnee levies.
Shawnee levies.
Right.
I mean, they're both renewals, which is nice because I think the last couple levies where we're asking for more money, I think people got a little frustrated, you know, keep asking for money. So I think it's a good time that we're doing renewals. I think they absolutely both need to be passed. The school I know has worked super hard on getting out of the spending that they were having problems with. I just saw a thing the other day, I think it was on their minutes actually, that, you know, they're kind of getting out of the red that we've been in, and which is great. That's what we need to get people to come to our township. You know, we have a great school system, and I think we need to keep continuing that. And without levy money, we're not going to be able to. So, and working at the school, I know what the workers all do, whether it's a teacher or a cafeteria worker or anything, you know, we need to keep those people for our kids. The police levy, absolutely. Like I said, it's huge that we have a fire and a police station within miles of our houses that are right there. And I would hate to see any of that go away.
yeah. Well, and I mean, I've been pretty clear that I just want people to know that I'm on the Shawnee
For
levy.
sure.
So at some point, you know, I don't know if I'll talk to myself to deliver some of that information. I'll try to get some of the committee members on there just so I can talk to them about the importance of
Yeah.
it. But it is important. And when you talk about the property tax thing that they're talking about in the House,
Yes.
that I get why people could be excited about it, but there's a lot of ramifications that we're going to have to work through.
Yes.
Not only, I would imagine, through the school, but also, like you said, through the fire department and the police. And that'll be a tough
I think people
stretch.
even hear the word levy and it's like, oh my gosh, they want more money, you know, and I think people just need to learn about what it, you know, it's not new money. It's to keep what we have going and hopefully build off of that, you know, because if we can't get a levy passed, you're not going to be able to keep building.
Absolutely. So when it comes to, you know, there's obviously 2 incumbents in there. What separates you? We get to put our name, we get to bubble in 2 names when we go to the ballot in November.
Sure.
So what are the reasons that we should vote for you and why someone should write you? And what's unique about you compared to the other people you're running against?
First, I think I'm a mom. Like I have a different,
There you go.
I think I have a different outlook on some stuff, you know, like, and I don't want to say guys or whatever, but
Sure.
I think, you know, I think that alone is a little bit different. Maybe seeing a different perspective coming, you know, just like a mom and a dad. You go to some kids go to mom about some stuff and dad about, you know, I think just having that whole different feel or thinking behind it is huge. I'm not political, you know, I never thought I would be in a
You
political.
weren't until now.
Yeah, but I never thought I'd be a politician or whatever, you know,
Sure.
or in the government. But I've learned so much, and I'm so excited to keep learning about stuff. And I know it's going to be hard, and I know it's going to be a lot, but I'm ready for it. And I just want to help the community. I just want to make it better. I want to be able to be there for the 18 and 19-year-old kids when they leave college. Like, hey, I wouldn't mind moving back home. You know, that was a great place to raise you know, that I was raised there. I'd love to raise my kids there, because I think those are the people we need to get people to keep coming back. So,
Yeah. I appreciate you putting up with all the technical difficulties
all
that
right.
we have.
It's
Pretty
all
much
right.
every time we do this, one of these cameras is beeping.
It's all
We
right.
got lucky with the last one, but I promise all this comes together
it's all
fine.
right. It's all right.
So, Matt, what do you got?
How should somebody go about their now? There's only 2 weeks ish,
Yeah.
a little under 2 weeks
Yeah,
left.
sure.
How can somebody that wants to support you? How can they get a hold of you? How can they reach out to you? What can they do to help?
For sure. So, Molaski for Shawnee Township Trustee is my Facebook page. And like I said, I've gotten tons of messages on there, which is great. People I've never even spoken to, you know, ask the questions. You know, this is the time. Ask them now. You know, get to know the candidates. So, you know, go there if you have questions. Obviously, vote at this point. You know, another sign isn't going to change someone's mind, or another, you know, something to look at. I think most people, the majority of people, have their mind made up on, you know, who they're at least thinking of voting for. Or so I think at this point, go vote. Like, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, ask the questions. There's no more township meetings before the election, so all we have now is the information that people are asking and wanting. So my big thing is go vote. You know, like.
Right?
You starting to get the butterflies a little bit about election night?
A little bit. I just don't know what to expect. You
Sure.
know, like I think excitement though too. You know, it's been a long 3 months, but I mean, I've became friends with all three of the guys running. You know, all four of us. We've talked. I've never, you know, I've known Kenny for a long time. Chad's son and my son graduated together. You know, so you know people, but I think this is kind of learning different about people that you don't normally get to see, and we've built, you know, great relationships through it all. So if nothing else, you know, even if I don't get in, I really hope one of them get in that can change some stuff about Shawnee Township.
Well, and that's one thing across the board. It seems like all four of you have said the same thing,
Yeah.
which is interesting. So it's refreshing to hear. And you know, you talk about this being, you know, I didn't think about getting into politics.
Yeah.
Ultimately, there's not a D or an R or an I next to any of your names.
No,
So
no.
what we're voting for is who's the best person
Right.
for the Shawnee Township,
Right.
for this community.
Yeah.
So you got any plans on election night? Do you know what you're going to be doing?
No, I don't actually. I was thinking about that. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
So
Yeah, see, that would be one thing I'd probably be so superstitious about.
I'm not sure. In one way, I'm like, maybe I'll just sit on my couch and stare at the television all night. But in another sense, I'm like, maybe we should just go do something and not,
We should be on vacation that
yeah,
day,
like
right?
not think about it as much as possible. But
So is the number one resource to figure out the votes, is it just watching Channel 5 and watching those updates?
that's what I've always done before. You know, like when
Okay.
we did the levy and stuff, it was like, you know, you get your text chain going, like, and it just runs across the bottom of the screen all night long.
Okay.
So
Just didn't know if there was like a secret insider thing
hope
to
if
find
there is, I
find
find
things.
out soon,
You get in on the club.
yeah.
So, well, Mindy, is there anything else you want to touch on?
Not that I can think of. Just like I said, go vote. Like, get your kids out there. All these high school kids, college kids, the voting, I mean, it's open every day of the week at this point. So
Yep.
even if you got one coming home from college, or, you know, a teenager that you can't get there, you know, after school or something, like, take them on the weekend and let's get these votes in. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Well, Mindy, it's certainly not easy to put your name out there, put your name on the line, and go out and knock door to door and talk to all the different voters out there. I appreciate what you are doing. I appreciate you taking the risks, whether they're small or big or however people want to look at it, but it's commendable. And I hope that more people look at what the four of you have done stepping up and maybe in their own way, in a small way, decide to step up and try to make a difference in this community as well. So
I appreciate, John Hollenbacher was huge with the town hall and you guys reaching out to us even to get this started. Like, it's hard to get to so many people in such a short amount of time. And this has been huge for the four of us. I know that. So thank you guys and the community for asking the questions and reaching out and helping us get our name and stuff out. So,
well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming on, and best of luck
Thank you
on
very
election
much.
night.
I appreciate it.